But sharp as a tack and very alert. Unfortunately, she couldn't be here to introduce this clip, so you were stuck with me. But she did say to extend her best wishes for this event. She's honored that Valentino has a legacy with her family. Next on our program, which is not in your program because it's a surprise, we have actor, comedian, and singer Will Ryan, who will be singing a couple of Valentino songs for us. And welcome to Valentino.
Thank you, Tracy. I'm actually filling in for Ian Whitcomb. Ian Whitcomb has been doing a couple of snappy tunes in celebration of Rudolph Valentino at this event for, at least a dozen years. And he couldn't be with us today because he's busy becoming a citizen of the United States of America. And so next year we look forward to Ian Whitcomb, hearing from Ian Whitcomb, America. In the meantime, here's a song that, for better or ill, has become associated with the man of the hour. I'm the sheep of every beat. Your heart belongs to me. At night, when winter is asleep, into your tent I creep. The stars that shine above will light our way to love. You rule the world with me, 'cause I happen to be a sheep of their beat out the turn. I'm sure Ian would do something like that in this section. Those aforementioned stars that shine way up above will light our way to love. Yes, they will. You're gonna rule the world with me, 'cause I happen to be. And please take note, I'm the guy who flowers don't. The sheep of their feet out the top, Ian usually does 2 snappy numbers, so I have one more snappy number that I prepared. Unfortunately, it was called Be Not Afraid, and Michael did it so well, and so much more appropriately, that I'll just have to do another song that makes reference to Rudolph Valentino, and it's about dancing. I saw a few people kind of tapping their feet there, and if you feel like getting up and dancing during this, I'm sure it would be very rude. So, almost as rude as playing ukulele here, I think. But it's not inappropriate to some. Some folks who are stout, worry, there's no doubt. Doctors come and shout, cut your waiting out. Well, I just have to grin at that double chin. Really, it's a sin. They could all be thin now. It's very simple if you can try it. A million people are reducing to buy it. No need to bother about a silly diet. Try a 2-step or a foxtrot. I guarantee you will soon have one chin. Just take a tip from me. Dance growth in See, Valentino was a dancer, I think you all know. Throw that diet book in the nearest brook. Chase that merry look. Foxtrot with your cook. Starving is abuse. There is no excuse. You can all reduce your, well, what's the use? Now it's very simple if you care to try it. A million people are reducing by it. No need to bother about a silly diet. Try a 2-step or a foxtrot. Right ahead and have a great big luncheon. I guarantee you will soon have one chin instead of 2 or 3. Just take a tip from me. Dancing growth in. Now, I know that you know and we know it worked for Valentino. Say all you got to do is dance growth in.
Thank you, Will. Thank you. We'd like to welcome a speaker to our memorial for the first time, or not the first time to attend, but the first time as a guest speaker, and we're more than glad to have her. Historian, author of the book Hollywoodland. Please welcome Mary Mallory.
Whitley Heights represented the epitome of style and success for Hollywood residents in 1920. A high-class, restricted residential district per an ad in the Los Angeles Times. Built around hillsides, the development offered pleasing views, exclusivity, and elegant Spanish-style homes, advertised by a large sign in single letters reading Whitley Heights, situated at the top of the highest hill. The neighborhood attracted celebrities and young society looking for privacy and grandeur. In 1921, rising star Rudolph Valentino bought a Mediterranean-style hillside home at 6776 Bridgewood Place as a peaceful love nest for he and Natasha Ramona away from the stresses of Hollywood. The remodeled Villa Valentino, a stylish 8-room residence, featured lavish decorations such as black tile, lacquer, and Chinese-inspired furnishings, all designed by Ramona herself. The couple loved the home, returning here after many of their travels. Some of the most famous stories associated with Valentino occurred here, including the Christmas gift of the legendary platinum slave bracelet of Christmas 1924. In 1925, Valentino decided to upscale even further and purchased a lavish estate in Beverly Hills, Falconmere. The house in Ridgewood Place remained in Valentino's estate after his death. When the estate attempted to sell it at auction in 1926, bidding only rose to $10,000, much less than the $30,000 mortgage, and the house was withdrawn from the sale. The estate occasionally rented the property, but by 1934, the city of Los Angeles declared the home unsafe after it stood empty for several years. In the late 40s, reclusive Maybelline founder Tom Lyle Williams occupied the home after upgrading and restoring it. Valentino Memorial Guild president and lady in black, Dietrich Flamme, paid him an unannounced visit. Armed with her Valentino scrapbook, she boldly knocked on the door and introduced herself to Mr. Williams, who invited her inside. He graciously gave her a guided tour of the house on his patio, showing off its magnificent view, and viewed her scrapbook. Flamme described the home as being decorated in tasteful beige with hints of Hawaii throughout. This was one of the last times friends and fans of Valentino toured the home, as later owners intended to move it away from construction before construction began on the Hollywood Freeway in 1951. While sitting vacant, overzealous Valentino followers descended upon the house, removing fixtures, decorations, tiles, plaster, virtually anything and everything associated with Valentino, leaving the home a dilapidated shell. To prevent further destruction, the city bulldozed what little remained of the once beautiful home. In an ironic testament to time, the foundation of the Valentino home still stands, rising above the 101 freeway south above the Cahuenga Boulevard exit, with a view of the giant Hollywood sign, a large billboard inspired by, but overshadowing its smaller Whitley Heights forebear. It remains a silent witness to a bygone era when Rudolph Valentino resided in the Hollywood Hills.
Acknowledge people who are part of Memorial that are no longer with us, and we lost one of them this year, Patricia Medina. Patricia came here 5 years ago and really set the room in his ear when she told us a great story of filming the 1951 biopic Valentino, which was released by Columbia. She told the story of, they were filming right here at the cemetery, the scene of her dressed up as a lady in black, and had her face all looking like old, but she had a veil over it. And she had gone home and they called lunch and got into a car accident. And she got, the person, when she got in the car accident, was old enough to know how to drive by now. she got out, she had little short shorts on, and she was like, well, you're not even dressed properly. It brought the house down. We remember fondly Patricia Medina, and we have in her honor, we're going to show a clip of that story she told, and we're going to just see, obviously, the clip of what she filmed. But take note when you see this, it's actual footage right here on these steps. As the view goes in, you'll see back before 1952, this used to be floor to ceiling stained glass, and catch a glimpse of that. And then at the conclusion, it takes off past the Fairbanks Bridge, but it was filmed right here. So let's pay tribute to Patricia Medina. Valentino Formula, Michael Owen.
Thank you, Tracy. Tracy called me just a couple of weeks ago, and on the phone, and I started immediately, my ego shot up. I was chit-chatting on the phone. I immediately launched into a slideshow presentation of my novel, detailed locations of the novel, and finally, graciously, Tracy interjected and said, Mike, you've got less than 10 minutes. So with that in mind, I thanked him, and I said, whoa. Anyways, I thought, what should I talk about? And I told Tracy, who had finished my novel, and he said, talk about what you just told me. How you came up with the idea of the Valentino formula. I spent about 4 years of my life with Rudy, 2.5 solid years with him writing the novel. About 4 years ago, I read the biography of Rudolph Valentino, and I saw that he went to a palm reader in Ocean Park, west of here, in the early 20s, circa early 20s. The palm reader had told Rudy that he was going to live a very short life. Rudy left the parlor very depressed. He went to lunch with a friend. He told the friend, I'm not going back to that Sierra. These are paraphrasing, but that's what he implied to the friend. He would never go back. I pictured, after reading that, I pictured what the palm reader would do. The palm reader would see that Rudy was very distressed about this short life he was to live. I pictured the palm reader saying, why don't I come up with a formula to bring him back from death after he dies? I went down to the Los Angeles Library, deep on the 4th level, and I looked up palm readers of Ocean Park in the 20s. Came up with a couple of them. Went down and looked at where they were, the buildings. I got into the history of it. So that's the story of how my novel idea begins. But today is not about me as a novelist, it's about Rudolph Valentino. How can you write a novel based around Valentino? Easy. Because as the lady just explained here, the author of Hollywoodland, I did try to find that foundation of that Whitley Heights home. I did drive around in an afternoon under the blazing summer sun about 6-7 years ago with binoculars in hands. I did try to find those foundations. They eluded me. And I'm a movie star home hunter and movie star home author. I was deeply distressed, as Rudy was, leaving the palm parlor. But that reminded me, her story about the house foundation and me never still laying eyes on those foundations, about why the novel works for Valentino. You gotta want to get at Rudy. He's mysterious, he's coy, he's got mythological implications to him. He's the only star, major star, in my belief, that lived, acted, and died in the silent film era. He's pure silent film star. And that's what makes him very good for a novel, very mysterious. And Tracy pointed out some things that I didn't know of Rudy. Unfortunately, my novel's already finished. But I keep learning more about Rudy. That he had actually visited this mausoleum. I didn't know that. I was humbled by that fact. I learned things today I didn't know about Rudy. Rudy is a very interesting person to study. I'll leave you with that. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Michael. Thank you. And now I'd like to introduce Michael Corey, and he is going to tell us the story behind the songs of this hymn, which will conclude our service. After that, we'll do the 23rd song with audience participation with Stella. But here to sing Ave Maria and tell us the significance of that is Michael J. Curry.
This is about my 10th memorial service that I've attended through the years. One of the reasons I chose this version of the Schubert Ave Maria today goes back to my childhood, believe it or not. I am what's known as a psychic medium. And when I was about 13 years old, I was in Catholic school, and one of my counselors recommended that I go and speak to her professor at UCLA, Dr. Thelma Moss, who was teaching classes on parapsychology, the science of. In those days, I knew I was psychic, but I didn't know what it meant. I had visions, I saw ghosts, I saw auras, I saw all kinds of stuff. But Rudolph Valentino would come to me in my dreams, and I didn't know who he was. So I went to meet Thelma Moss. She took me in as part of her study of psychic children for 5 years. And during that time, she took me on my first paranormal investigation, which was at a house out in what is now Culver City, which later became a very famous movie called Poltergeist. And when you watch that movie today, remember the little girl in the movie? Well, in reality, it wasn't a little girl, it was a young boy, and it was me. But Hollywood, of course, changed the story to make it more exciting, and later she set fires with her mind and did all kinds of things. I can't do that. And I'm not causing the heat here today. It really is the sun. But going back to Rudolph Valentino, how is this connected to him? Well, Thelma Moss, after 3 years of working with her and having been tested on my ability to see spirits, hear spirits, feel them, sense them, she decided that I was ready to take another step, and that was to attend a seance. I was really afraid because I was Catholic, and I was told that Catholics don't involve themselves with such things like that. But Thelma put her hands on her hips and she said, "Fiddlesticks, Michael, it's just energy." So my permission was granted by my parents to attend, and she picked me up and we drove into Hollywood. We went to an old high-rise building. We got out of our car, got into a rickety old elevator, went to the penthouse. When the door opened, Roddy McDowell was standing there. And he said, "Oh, hello, Thelma. Is this the psychic whiz kid you told us about?" And we went into the home of movie legend Mae West, who had seances in her home every Friday for most of her life. But when she was younger, she attended seances, went to palm readers, went to psychics and mediums galore, along with Rudolph Valentino. They were friends. And she had a book that she showed me of the poetry of Sir Walter Scott. And in that book, Rudolph Valentino had underlined several passages of what later became the Ave Maria, taken by Schubert and put into musical form. And so as a tribute today to Mr. Valentino, who I still speak to in spirit. In fact, 3 months ago, I was doing a TV show in New York, doing a seance at a celebrity home, and he came through and gave amazing information. To me, Rudolph Valentino isn't a ghost. He's a spirit guide because he knows what's going on in the now. And he knows you're all here. And I'm sure he's here listening, and so are all the other people that are within these walls. It's kind of a weird thing to say, but whenever I come here, I always think about everybody. And I'm sure that they enjoy everything that Tracy and Stella have done all these years as well. So I hope you'll enjoy this rendition of Schubert's Ave Maria.
another tradition that goes way back to the earliest times of the Valentine Memorial is the reading of the 23rd Psalm. If everyone had, I believe there's an insert in all the programs, you can join with us. That's the twist we've added to that. So here, what, 31 years? She's a veteran. So Stella Grace is going to lead us in the 23rd Psalm. And that concludes the 85th anniversary of the Valentine Memorial. I can't thank our guest speakers enough. I can't thank all of you enough. Please go down the corridors. You're getting your specs to Valentino. Stop by and see the vintage historical photographs, the Universal 100 collection, Myron Page wonderful collection of Valentino. Thank you again. God bless.